All right, let's talk about something that can totally change the game for anyone in quality assurance. We're going to dive into a huge mindset shift. It's really the difference between just, ticking boxes and actually owning the whole process. So, this right here, this is the core of everything we're talking about today. It might look like just a small change in how you ask a question, but trust me, the shift in your thinking is, well, it's massive. This is what separates someone who's just a gatekeeper from someone who's a real strategic partner. Let's break down what that really means. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Every single person in QA starts right here, asking about compliance. It's like QA 101, right? It's the foundation for sure. But, and this is a big but, it's only the starting point. So, what does it actually feel like to be in this compliance mindset day to day? Well, it's all about verification. You're basically a detective for the rulebook. You're asking things like, does this feature do exactly what the spec says? Is this checklist all filled out? Is every single word of this procedure documented? It's all about making sure everything on paper lines up perfectly, ticking all the boxes. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't that good enough? I mean, it's a fair question, right? If you've met every single requirement and the paperwork is pristine, shouldn't your job be done? That sounds like what QA is all about. But is it? This is where it gets interesting, because when you focus only on that checklist, you start to uncover a really critical, kind of hidden flaw in just sticking to compliance. And here it is. This is the big aha moment. You can have a process that looks perfect on paper. I mean, it passes every audit, the documentation is beautiful, but in the real world, it's a total mess. It's unpredictable, it's inefficient, and the results are all over the place. And that just proves a huge point. Being compliant on paper does not mean you actually have quality in practice, not even close. So that realization, that's what pushes us to evolve. It leads us to the next level, the control mindset. This is where we stop just looking at the paper and start looking at what's really happening on the ground. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the compliance questions. Are the requirements met? Are the documents there? Simple, right? But look at the other side, the control focus. The questions are so much deeper. Does the process behave predictably? Do we actually understand and manage the risks? It's a total shift from being reactive to being proactive. Okay, so how do you actually start doing this? How do you make that shift? Well, you start asking these kinds of questions. First, you look at variability. Are you getting the same result every time, or is it a bit of a lottery? Then you look for recurrence. Is this bug a one-off, or is it the third time this month we've seen something like it? That's a pattern. You have to look at trend data. Are we actually improving, or are things slowly getting worse? And maybe the most important one, effectiveness. Forget the paperwork for a second. Is this process actually doing what we need it to do? And when you start thinking this way, something really cool happens. It's not just about your work anymore. It totally changes the conversations you have with people. And believe me, it changes how everyone in the company sees you. Think about the old way. The compliance conversation is pretty simple. You walk into a room and say, here's the requirement, and that's it. It's necessary, sure, but it makes quality sound like a roadblock, Just another hurdle people have to jump over. But now, check out the new conversation. Imagine walking in and saying, okay, here's the risk I see, and here's how we're going to control it. See the difference? That's not a roadblock. That's a solution. It shows you're thinking ahead, you've spotted a problem before it happened, and you're taking ownership. You've already got a plan. That is so much more valuable. Now you're a partner, not a gatekeeper. So where does all this lead? Well, it has a huge impact on where your career is headed. At the end of the day, it's really this simple. When you make that shift from compliance to control, you're not just doing your job differently. You're elevating your entire role. You stop being the person who just checks boxes at the very end. Instead, you become a strategic partner, someone who gets the big picture, who manages risk, who actually helps the whole operation succeed. You're basically moving from the passenger seat into the driver's seat. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought, a challenge, really. When you go into work tomorrow, which question are you going to ask? Are you going to ask, is this compliant? Or are you going to ask, is this under control? Because the question you choose to focus on, that's going to shape your day, the way you talk to your team, and honestly, the entire path of your career.